It was a sad moment for the Akosa family of Obikporo village, Onitsha, the moment the remains of their beloved wife, late Mrs. Amalaweze Irene Akosa, was committed to murder death. Late Mrs. Amalaweze Irene Akosa, who died at the age of 76, was the stepmother to Emengini Osadebe of ABS News and Current Affairs Department, Onitsha. Correspondent Irene now reports.
The Akosa compound was filled with family members, in-laws, church members, friends and well-wishers who gathered to pay their last respects to the deceased. In a sermon during the burial mass at her husband's compound, Akosa family, Pastor Emeka Anekwe of Jordan Parted Ministry, Onitsha, reminded the faithful that the world is filled with evil, hence they should strive to live a righteous life to please God, so as to inherit God's kingdom.
As you are living here on earth, child of God, be in good terms with your neighbor.
Speaking to the ABS, the deceased son, Mr. Okudili Akosa, expressed gratitude to God for the strength given to them to bid their late mother farewell, described her as a joyful, peace-loving and an organizer, called on his siblings to follow their late mother's footsteps. The daughters of the deceased, Mrs. Rhoda Odimokeka Okabwe and Mrs. Maureen Adobe Oko, thanked God that their mother was a devout Christian, very charitable, kind and a mentor, advised their siblings to uphold their late mother's faith in God.
So they happy that Chineke a different life, a different being, trusting God that she's there.
Her stepdaughter, Mrs. Emengini Osadebe, thanked all who came to commiserate with them, expressed sadness over the demise of her stepmother, whom they wished should have celebrated her 80th birthday before departure, but it pleases God to take her at his appointed time. Described her as a pace-setter, peace-loving, an epitome of love and compassion.
Just like what does say Tobo. I'm ready to pop my
While the granddaughter, Mrs. Obiamaka Oche, described her as a good and generous woman who stood by her in the thick and thin, prayed for her eternal repose. The deceased in-law and the relative, Mr. Celestine Oko and Mr. Ezawanne Agusodo, also paid tribute to the deceased. Interment, condolences, dance, and ritual of death by Omonya people from where the deceased came featured during the ceremony. From Onitsha, Irene reporting for ABS.